and welcome to Her Holistic Home. I'm glad you're here. Let's dive into my picks for second grade curriculum. So I have obviously been in the second grade curriculum before, same as when I was in first because of my older daughter. But I'm making a couple different changes from what I did back then, and some of the things are staying the same. So if you've watched any of my videos before, you'll know that I really do love Memoria Press for their language arts. So I am going to be continuing with Memoria Press with my second grader because I have found it to be a really great curriculum. One of the things that I love about Memoria Press is that they don't use readers, they use real books. So my kids come away reading real books. I hated reading readers when I was growing up and getting homeschooled. And that's not to say readers don't have a benefit. For my kindergartner, we're doing all about reading. And yeah, we're using readers because there's not many books that are like Hat, Bat. Those books don't exist, right? But for my second grader, that is not the case. So for my older daughter, we kind of pick and choose what books we're going to read for the year. We don't do the full set. We go with her interest because they have so many literature guides at Memoria Press, and you can really go with their interests as long as you kind of stay within the proper grade level range. You can kind of pick and choose and do as much or as little as you feel comfortable doing. Now, for first and second grade, I pretty much stick with the curriculum. What are the ones that they're putting in the second grade package? Let's buy those. So that is what we did this year. Now I'm only showing 2 of them here. They switched it up a little bit on me because they did have a treasury book that they did the first time around with my second grader, who is now my 6th grader. So they switched out some of the books. So instead of that treasury, they're now using Amelia Bedelia and Bramby Hedge. So I had to buy some new teacher's guides and some new books because they didn't have, I actually didn't even look to see if they had the student guide still for that other book. But I figured if they updated it, maybe they updated it for a reason. And it wasn't that big of a deal. Let's try some new books out. But some of the staples are still there, like Little House in the Big Woods. This is going to be one of her readers. Now, my older daughter was not a super big fan of Little House, but I think they're really great for kids to really start learning how to read. And some kids really love Little House books. So we'll see if my second daughter loves them or kind of isn't into them. But either way, we will do Little House. And then you have like Bramby Hedge, and I said Amelia Bedelia. And if you go on Memoria Press's website, you'll see all of their picks and all of their books for second grade. You're going to hear my kids playing in the background because it is that time of day. So we also are doing the New American Cursive. So this is also through Memoria Press. We did not do this actually for my older daughter when she was in second grade. And that's mainly because she just took to Cursive. In first grade, she did the Cursive. She loved it. She just didn't have any problems remembering the letters. She really loved it. She actually kind of pushed through the book on her own. My second daughter, while loving Cursive, has a little bit of more trouble with it. And so I decided it would be good to do another year of Cursive to kind of really solidify the letters and kind of go over it all again. And so we are going to do Cursive with her. So with Memoria Press, you can buy their lesson guides. And the great thing is you can buy lesson guides for one subject. You can buy lesson guides for different subjects. And I bought their customizable lesson plan. So you can go in and select the subject that you're going to be doing, and they will basically create a digital lesson plan for you that has the subjects that you're going to use in it. And so that's been really great for me to kind of, because most of the time their lesson plan is going to include things that I'm not using, and usually I'm like crossing out their math, I'm crossing out certain things. So I did that this year, and so I can't really share that with you because it is digital, but it is a really great offering. So if you want their lesson plans, but you're like, we don't use their math, we don't use their Bible, then don't select those things and only select the things you do use, and it will create a lesson plan for you. And so that's what we're going to be using for that. We also have the read alouds. Again, I already own all of the read alouds, and I already own the read aloud guide and things like that for second grade. So we'll just continue with what I already have for read alouds, because I do think it's still important to do read alouds, especially in second grade when they're still learning how to read. They're still expanding their vocabulary. I don't really read aloud much to my 6th grader anymore, unless it's like Bible time in the beginning, because she can pretty much read anything she wants at this point. So we are going to be doing, and I know if you've seen my videos before, you're probably like, what? Why is she doing Latin? She said she doesn't do Latin. But we are going to be doing Prima Latina with my second grader, and here is why. I think the Prima Latina program is a really great program, and until she can do something like Greek or Hebrew or decide she wants to do Portuguese, I think it's good for her to get a taste of what it's like to learn a language. And so we are going to do the Prima Latina. It may take us 2 years to get through it. My second daughter is not quite as great on the memorization front, so we'll see how she likes it. We'll see how she does. I'm excited for her to try it and see really how she takes to languages. Again, this is not going to be something though that I force. So if she absolutely hates it and we're having tearful days, I will drop this so fast. But we are going to try Prima Latina. Spelling number 2. Oh my goodness. Can I tell you what spelling was for us last year? Oh my word. I went from Memoria Press spelling, which was in the video that I told you. We scrapped it. We decided to do Abeka spelling, and then halfway through we scrapped that. We went back to Memoria Press, and now we are flying with Memoria Press. So what happened? Memoria Press spelling curriculum compared to Abeka. Abeka did not have nearly the amount of practice. Now, I have seen people criticize the Memoria Press spelling for that reason. I have seen them say, oh my gosh, there's just so many drills and so much supplement and so much this and so much that. Then don't do it. Don't do all that stuff. I remember when my oldest was in Memoria Press, we did not do that. We were like, let's do 1 or 2 of these, and if you got it, let's move on. But my other daughter, my second daughter, she needs every single bit of those guides and those exercises to get the spelling. So when we switched to Abeka for a couple of weeks, I was like, this is not enough. This is absolutely not enough. And they started with 10 words, and a couple weeks in, they went to 20 words. This was just overwhelming. We went back to Memoria Press. We are doing well. I will say one thing. If you are struggling with spelling, one thing I did with my older daughter that I absolutely cannot do with my second daughter. And so I kind of want to present this as a tip and a trick for spelling. My older daughter, we could do a pre-test. Let's do a pre-test. Let's see what you know and what you don't know. Okay, great. You don't know that word. You don't know that word. Let's focus on those. For this daughter, we absolutely cannot do that. As soon as I stopped doing pre-tests, we started flying through spelling with only missing maybe 1 on the final test. And the reason why is I think for her, she would think through how to spell the words on the pretest. Okay, how do I spell this word? And that locked it in her mind. Okay, this is how you spell that word. I'm trying really hard. So then when it was like, no, you missed 70% of those, now let's learn how to spell them. It was very difficult to get that original way that she had figured out and made a pathway in her brain to learn how to spell that word, to take that and say, no, that's not the way, you gotta go this way. So now what we do is we just open it up. We say, these are your spelling words. Let's look at them. Here they are. Let's write them. There's no pretest, no nothing. So the first time that she's writing these words, she is writing them properly with the proper spelling. And that has really helped her. And if you look on lesson 1, now they're at 15 words. This is what Abeka was doing in first grade. It was too much. Now I'm hoping in second grade, she's going to be able to do all 15 words. It will be another year, but this is much more properly paced in my opinion. Again, this is just one of the books. There's a supplemental workbook. There is a copybook for these words. And we may do all those activities. And I really appreciate that they are there for us and we're able to use them because spelling has been a struggle for my second daughter. So I'm really excited to still be using Memoria Press's spelling curriculum. We are going to be doing the English grammar through Memoria Press. And again, I will do the same thing where we probably do Fix-It grammar for a year when we get to the writing level, and then we probably will switch into the Well-Trained Mind grammar. But again, for this beginning, it's really great. It kind of teaches them the rules and teaches them how to, like you can see, you're editing sentences and you are learning how to memorize rules. That's one of the things that you kind of start to memorize, sentences for capitalization, punctuation, grammar. So this is really this kind of early grammar. I really like this curriculum and we will do this for a couple years before we kind of switch over and do different things. As I said, I do love Memoria Press. I just am not a huge fan of their science and their history, geography kind of piece, but their language arts is so great. I really haven't found anything that is comparable to it. I really, really, really do love it. Science, we are doing the same thing we are doing with Noelle. We are my 6th grader. We are doing the homestead curriculum. So we'll be doing this together, all together, kind of learning about homesteading. And I'm really excited about using this curriculum. It's a little bit, I think, more fun, and it will kind of apply to our lives and kind of where we're at versus like doing something from Apologia. And none of my kids really wanted to do any of the Apologia ones this year. So that's where we're at with that. We are moving Juliet to Abeka Math. And we're going to see how this goes. Juliet did not do well with Abeka Math when we first started in kindergarten. She had a hard time kind of understanding math concepts. So we did the Good and the Beautiful. And I think for early ages, the Good and the Beautiful is great. However, I will say that for me, the Good and the Beautiful drives me a little bit insane because of the stories. In the beginning, everything is a story, and I understand it's fun for kids, but as a parent, it kind of drives me a little bit insane. So it's like we're trying to do math problems, and there's like a lake, and there's math problems that go across the lake, and it'll be like, Johnny and Susie are delivering apples to their grandma, but they have to cross the river in their boat. So they have green and red apples because their grandmother's making an apple pie. Isn't that super fun? So let's help them by doing the math problems to cross the lake to grandma's house. And I'm like, oh my gosh, just do the problems on the page and we'll be done. Like, I know, probably not the best thought process for me, but it does drive me crazy. But now that my daughter has really grown in her confidence in math, I think that going over to Abeka Math is not going to be a problem for her. I actually think she'll do just fine with it, and we'll see how it goes. And if it doesn't go well, we will then move back to Good and the Beautiful. I have no problem scrapping curriculum and saying, oops, made a mistake. And we can even print out pages of the Good and the Beautiful Math until the actual hard copy arrives. But we're going to try the 2nd grade Abeka Math and see how it goes. So for history this year for my daughter, this is really going to be the first year we're really delving into history. She really we did the kind of little bit of social studies, which my story, I think we did my story last year. I think I talked about that in my 1st grade video, and I'll be truthfully honest, we didn't end up using it. So we didn't use it. We did a couple days of it. I have tried that curriculum now with 2 of my kids, hoping and wanting it to work and hating it. So to be truthfully honest, I cannot recommend the My Story from Master Books. It has not worked for us. I don't like it. It drives me crazy. Maybe because it's kind of Charlotte Mason-y, and Charlotte Mason has never been my style. That's a real possibility. I don't know. But this is the first year that we're going to be doing actual history. Now, this history curriculum spanned 2 years for my older daughter, so we will see how it kind of spans now for my younger daughter. Because my older daughter will be doing kind of government, we're going to see kind of these will kind of go hand in hand, but we're going to be doing our Star Spangled Story. I already had this book because we did it with my older daughter, so all I had to buy was the student workbook. I already have all of the accessories, all of the things. I bought the whole packet. Now, we won't be doing the little readers or the little books that go along with it because, to be truthfully honest, it's way too much if you do the whole thing, in my opinion. But we will be reading this. There's 2 books, 1 and 2. There's a lot of material. So we will see how she does with it. And again, if it has to go 2 years, it will go 2 years. I am totally okay with doing that. Now, let's get to the fun part. I'm really, really, really excited this year about what we are doing for Bible with my 2nd grader and my kindergartner. So I will talk about this in my kindergarten video as well. But I went and I found this at the Homeschool convention this year. The Answers in Genesis was there, and I am in love with this now. I have not done it, so check with me next year to find out if we're still doing it. But from what I have seen, I am super, super, super excited about this curriculum for Answers in Genesis. So what's really cool about this curriculum is I can teach both kids at the same time, and they have different workbooks. So this is going to be for my 2nd grader, 2nd through 3rd, and notice that she's going to be in year 1, Creation through Joseph. Now, there's the kindergarten through 1st grade, which is also going to be year 1, Creation through Joseph. So they're going to be Creation to Joseph. No matter where you start, you're going to start in year 1. So next year, she'll also have the 2nd through 3rd book, but she'll be in year 2. He will also have the K through 1. He'll be in year 2, and so forth, and it goes on. Here's the test and the answers. Now, you don't have to do tests. But the reason why I got the 2nd through 3rd grade test is because the great person at the booth was like, you may just want this because I was like, I know these Bible answers to a 2nd and 3rd grade curriculum. It's not going to be hard for me to figure out. But she was like, yes, but there are some puzzles in here where you're going to have to like find the letter and match it up. And she's like, if you don't get the answer key, you're going to have to solve the puzzle. And I was like, I don't want to do that. Okay, so I'm going to get this so that I don't have to grade it and I don't have to figure out the puzzle. Like I can just do it. And then here is the teacher guide. So the teacher guide, it is for year 1. It says it right on the side. Year 1. This is my teacher book for both of my kids. And again, if they had it in 6th grade, if they had the 6th grade curriculum to go along with this, I would have got the 6th grade. But it ends at 5th grade. So I'm really excited starting this now for Juliet because she'll be able to do this in 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th and get through all 4 years, which I'm super excited if we decide to stay with it, which you never know with me. But I'm very, very excited about this curriculum for Bible. Again, it looks really great. It looks really fun. Even the kindergarten is like coloring and handwriting with, and it's age appropriate because it has the dotted lines so you can trace the letters. So many curriculum offerings. I feel like they're just like, write a sentence. And I'm like, this is a kindergartner. They're still learning their letters. Like they can't, like this is, even still with tracing, that might be a little bit much. But it's like, oh, look, let's draw a line from the ark was huge to which of these pictures go with it? Which of these, okay, God made to promise never to flood the earth again. Okay. Like which of these, oh, that's the promise, like I'm very, very, very excited about this curriculum. So that is my 2nd grade curriculum this year. I'm really excited about it, specifically the Bible curriculum. And again, most of the stuff I've done before, so we're just going to kind of go through it and see how it goes. But if you have any question, as always, reach out to me on any of my social media platforms. Leave a comment below. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I will see you again next time.